places.
We're here at RCHS, beautiful RCHS, talking to Kathy Fry about the foreign exchange students, to put it simply.
Right. Foreign exchange program. I am the foreign exchange director at Richland Center High School, and we were just discussing that I also am a local coordinator with Youth for Understanding, YFU. So this isn't just limited to Richland Center, I guess, because I am working with some kids that are at different schools as well. But for the most part, I work here with kids who are in this foreign exchange program, and for upcoming year, 25-26, so far we have 4 confirmed students from Estonia, which is new to us.
Eastern Europe?
It's actually right across the sound from Finland.
Okay.
So it is Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania are right there in the northern part of Europe, right next to Russia. And so I have a girl from Estonia, we have a girl from France coming, a girl from Germany, and a girl from Switzerland. And we are just about to confirm a boy from Azerbaijan, which will be also a new country to RCHS.
And you and I had discussed this a little bit. I assumed it was an Asian country, and I Googled it because I didn't know, and it said it's trans-European,
It's Eurasian.
Okay.
So it's kind of at that spot where Europe and Asia come together.
Okay.
Near Turkey. It's next to the Republic of Georgia. We
Yes.
had a kid here about 5 years ago from the Republic of Georgia. And so it's got some mixed ethnicity, I think. But Azerbaijani is the official language. I don't know a lot about Azerbaijan, to be really honest with you, so I'm going to be doing some learning about that as well.
There was a UW student, 05, 04, from Azerbaijan, and he was killed here, but that's another thing.
Oh.
He was in a car accident.
Oh,
But I had to.
that. I didn't remember where the kid was from, but I do remember that. It's sad.
And I had to look up what they spoke, Azerbaijani, and that's similar to Turkish.
Yes, it's a Turkish language, or Turkic. I don't know how you pronounce that. Turkic, Turkic language.
Okay.
So it does derive from Turkish, yes.
And then what was the Estonian? Estonian is a language similar to Finnish, which is impossible for us to learn.
I'm sure. Yes, that girl's name is Anastasia. So I think she goes by Stacy. We'll see when she gets here.
How is their English all around?
To participate in these exchange programs, generally the organizations screen them pretty well so that they have an understanding of English and can function and don't have to have any extra help. Occasionally there's a kid that comes in that maybe did better on their testing than they really have the capacity of understanding, but usually the kids speak pretty good English, and it does improve very quickly when they're immersed in the language and have to use it every single day. So.
Well, I'm assuming, again, that the German student and the Swiss student have pretty good English.
Yes.
Is the Swiss student from the German area?
She speaks German, yes. The interesting thing about her is, actually, we're going to be hosting her. She is multicultural herself. Her mother is from Guatemala and her father is from Switzerland. So
That's an interesting.
Really
Where did they meet?
Mom went to Europe. I don't remember if she went to UK or if she went directly to Switzerland, but probably 20 years ago, and she just never left. So
Okay.
She went to go to school, and she never went back to Guatemala. So.
And you are looking for host families, mentors maybe, or they used to call them.
Anybody that's interested in the program. So Richland Center has a policy that we will accept up to 10 exchange students per year, and we are at tentatively 5. I'm pretty sure we'll be 5 by early next week. That will all get finalized. So I would love nothing more than to have all of those spots filled. Not only does it bring an interesting cultural phenomenon, I guess, to the high school and our community. But something that we don't really talk about too much is that when the kids are attending high school, they actually benefit financially, the high school or the school district, because they are able to be counted for the student counts. And so every student counts, and if we have a steady stream of exchange students, they are able to be counted. So it does help the district financially as well.
And for those interested in hosting, or even in my case, maybe mentoring, because I don't have room in my tiny house, but it doesn't really cost you anything, just do stuff.
It's just, so the requirements for being a host family are that you provide a room with a bed, and it can be shared with a host sibling, but it has to be a separate real bed.
Yes.
These are all State Department rules. 3 meals per day, and the meals can either be packed lunch from home when they're at school, or they can buy lunch at school. The family can add them to the lunch account. And transportation, and the kids can ride the bus. So it's just if the kids are involved in activities, which most of them do like to be involved in, because it's different in their countries. They don't have school sports so much in Europe, and other countries as well. But those are the 3 things: provide a bed and a place for the kid to study.
Study was the one I was
Yes,
going to bring up,
yes.
yeah.
And then 3 meals per day and transportation. Of course, we want to see them have a good relationship with the host family. We want to see support and a loving environment and that type of thing. But those are the main things.
And they're part of the family. They're one of the siblings, or they're if it's time to take out the garbage, well,
Right. Right. So yeah, the aim is that they become a part of your family.
Become
And
assimilated, yeah.
We've hosted many students, my husband and I, and we've become part of larger international families ourselves. We've been to Europe 4 times now to visit kids, 2 weddings so far. We were at a wedding from a student that we hosted that was at the campus in 2013-14, I think. 14, 15,
Who was that?
somewhere in there. She's from Switzerland, but she's actually Kurdish. Her family moved to Switzerland when she was about 2 years old. So that was a really interesting wedding, because it was Swiss part and Kurdish part, and completely different things.
I bet.
Really, really interesting wedding.
Yeah.
That was very fun. We've been able to visit our kids for 3 years ago in 22. We went to another student's wedding, and we were able to get a bunch of our former students together. And this was kids from, the oldest one had been at the campus in 1995. She was from Ukraine, and she's now living in Ireland because of the war. And she brought her 2 teenage kids with her. So she was the oldest one, and then the youngest one was the one that we had hosted just that prior year. And she is from Bulgaria, and she was 19. So, all the way from mid-40s to 19. We had about 12 of them all together in one place, and they all just, it was like a big family reunion. Even though they didn't really know each other, they knew of each other. And some of them had met before, but most of them had not. And it was really fun just to see the interactions.
And it's interesting when you have a student here. I'm always speaking of UW because I am not familiar as much with the high school international students or exchange students, but they go back to, let's say, Pakistan, and they just network. So when they come here the next semester, they know me. Like, how do
Right.
at the airport, Ben, say,
Yes.
hi, how do you know?
Yeah. We've been able to put some of our new incoming students in touch with some former students before they get here, so that they can kind of get to know a little bit about us. And maybe that's a good idea, maybe it's not, I don't know. It's much different now than it was when we first started hosting back in the late, it was like 1989, 90 was the first student we hosted. And then they came, they didn't know anything about us, we didn't know anything about them. There was no internet, so you couldn't converse with them beforehand.
Yes.
Or get to know them a little bit. Now it's so much easier to stay in touch after, and it's easy to get to know them a little bit before they come and meet their parents and kind of maybe put some calm into the parents by letting them know who we are and what our community is like before they arrive.
Well, yeah, the parents want to know where their child's going.
Exactly.
That there's a real house there. And is there any kind of a time limit, for example, to avoid a vetting process? Are they, let's say tomorrow somebody calls you and said, I would like to host the student from Switzerland. Are they instantly allowed to start communicating?
No.
Okay.
No. So the process is there is an application that must be filled out. And along with that, the host parents, the potential family, gives authorization for criminal background checks for anybody that's over 18 years of age in the household. Also, they have to give references, and the companies, the exchange organizations, do call those references. So they fill out the application. It involves, who's in your family, do you have pets, pictures of your home, just information about the family, and then again the background check authorization references. So that generally, once the family starts filling out an application, it takes maybe 2 weeks, I would say, to finalize the whole process if everything goes quickly. So, and as my part of the job is, as a local coordinator, I go and interview the family, go to the home, interview the family, make sure that it looks like a home that's equipped to house a student, talk with the family about why they want to host, and if they've hosted before, we just kind of go over a few things. And that's a chance for them to get to know me a little bit, because I then am the support person for the whole year for both the student and the family.
Okay.
So I check in with them as a local coordinator. I check in with each kid once a month and each family once a month at least, to see how things are going, making sure everything's going well. If there's any issues, they can call me or email me and get in touch with me, and I can help get through any bumps in the road that might come up. If the student for some reason needs to move, then I'm the one who looks for another family to host them for the rest of the year. As things come up, families have crises or whatever, and sometimes I do have to move students. So it's always good to have a couple of families that are willing to take kids for short term as well. To be a host family, if you're a little nervous about it, I had an email this morning from someone who had seen a social media post that the school district had put up about hosting, and she said, I really like this program. I'm in the schools, so I know, I've had interaction with some of these kids, but I'm nervous about it.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that I do as both the local coordinator for the organization and as the foreign exchange director here. Answer questions for people, tell them what it's like to host, tell them what the requirements are, help them through the application process. So they do the application, they have all of the background checks and things done, everything gets approved. I do an interview as a local coordinator for YFU, this is. And then once everything is approved, then the host family will get a link to a pre-arrival orientation. It takes about 45 minutes. And one of the parents has to go through that. Not everybody does, but just one parent. And then once that's done, then the green light goes on and the information is exchanged about the students. And they really, the families really are not supposed to even be able to see photos of the kids until they're completely vetted. Now, if you have a family that's vetted and hosting, for 24, 25, and they decide they're going to host again next year, they will get to see a little bit more because they're already vetted within that time frame.
Yeah.
They do have to go through an interview again. That's every year. All that whole process, you have to update your application and have another interview.
Well, things change or could change.
Right. You could have a kid that was in high school and graduated and is now going to move out of the house. So that's an update that has to get made, something like that. So
Do these students have their own money, spending money?
they generally do. The kids who come just as regular exchange students, usually their parents will give them a debit card now, and
Yep.
put money on their debit card once a month for the kids to spend. They have their own spending money. They have insurance. So the host family does not have to worry about any of that. Kids generally now will bring their own phone and just get a SIM card here, but that is not the responsibility of the host family either. Host families are not expected to pay for things like when the kids go out with friends, or their SIM card for their phone, or their school supplies. The kids are supposed to pay for all of that. So generally, the regular exchange students will have that. There are some scholarship programs that do also include a stipend for the student. So the Flex program and the YES program, the students, as part of their scholarship, get $200 a month to spend on things like cap and gown for graduation,
Yeah.
prom tickets, sports fees, that kind of thing. So there's a third program called CBYX, which is strictly Germany and the U.S. It's through both of our governments, and there are kids who go from the U.S. to Germany on this program, and kids who come from Germany and come to the U.S. on the same program. And that's also a State Department-sponsored scholarship, as are Flex and YES.
When, I assuming they're arriving middle of August around there?
The first student in the group at RCHS is arriving August 15th.
Okay.
And then one on the 18th, one on the 19th, one on the 21st. So those are the 4 so far that are confirmed. This time of the year, we're looking August in the face. And
Yeah.
again, the process takes a couple of weeks for the host family, but then the kid has to go and get their visa. So, if someone's interested in hosting this year, now's the time. It's really getting to the point where, you really want to get this done soon and make that decision so that if you do want to host, the kid can get here before school starts. Yeah, so there are some other, besides just regular exchange students, there are several scholarship programs. One of them is called CBYX, which I think I alluded to earlier. That one is between Germany and the U.S., and kids go both directions on that one. So we have some of our U.S. kids go over to Germany, some German kids come to the U.S. It's sponsored by our State Department and the German Bundestag. So that's one. Another is called Flex, Future Leaders Exchange, and that one is a Kennedy Lugar Scholarship. It is run by American Councils, which is part of the State Department. It's fully funded by the State Department, and it was started in the mid to late 80s when the Soviet Union disbanded, and it works with countries who were former Soviet bloc countries. So it's countries like Ukraine, which there are a couple of Ukrainian students this year, which is interesting. But it's countries like Estonia, I believe, has some Flex kids. We hosted a girl from the Republic of Georgia. All of those countries are kind of border Russia now, but we're part of the Soviet Union when that was a thing. So that one is, again, sponsored through American Councils. What happens with that one and with the YES scholarship program, which I'll talk about in a minute, American Councils does all of the application work, the screening. It's highly competitive. There are a certain number of scholarships in each country each year, and the kids compete for those scholarships. And then once they receive the scholarship, then the kids are kind of parceled out into different organizations that work with this program. So YFU gets a certain number of these scholarship kids, and other organizations, AFS and NACEL Open Door, and all these other different organizations that work with these scholarships will get a certain number of kids to place. Then the third scholarship program is called the YES Scholarship, which is Youth Exchange and Study. That one was started after September 11th, and it works with countries that have a higher population of Muslim people. So, some of those countries would be the Middle Eastern countries, Egypt. We had a girl from Morocco here a few years ago. Actually, the Philippines, we had a Filipino guy here a couple of years ago who was a YES student. Ghana, just all different countries that have Muslim populations. Again, those are full scholarships. Yes and Flex and CBYX are full scholarships. The difference is Yes and Flex are run by American councils, and those students receive a stipend. So the scholarships are not necessarily need-based, but many of the kids who come are people that probably wouldn't have had the chance otherwise to come. So they get a stipend every month that they can use for things like graduation cap and gown, prom tickets. I believe they can use it for their physicals for sports,
Okay.
sport fees, school supplies, that kind of thing. So they get a $200 a month stipend to use for that kind of thing through the program, which is really great because the kids have the chance to participate in things that they normally wouldn't have a chance to do.
So what is your contact information?
So if people want to get a hold of me, the best way is probably to use my, I have a separate email account for the exchange stuff at Richland Center.
Okay.
So it's RCHS, RC Exchange Director at gmail.com. So RC Exchange Director, all one word, at gmail.com.
That's the best way.
That's probably the best way.
Okay. Well, anything else to add, Kathy?
Really would love to have these 5 extra spots filled for Richland Center High School, and if there are people listening in neighboring school districts, I'm happy to work with those districts as well with YFU. I have one student in Verona this year that I'll be working with, and one in Prairie du Chien so far. And last year I had one in Mauston and one in La Crosse. So. Local coordinators can work within about a 100-mile radius. That's a State Department rule as well. So if there's anybody that's watching that's outside of Richland School District, I'm happy to help with that as well.
And also, your daughter and her husband now own 13 Pines RC
Yes,
watercraft
my
or whatever it's called. And
Yes.
by coincidence, there's still kayaking season in
Yes.
on the beautiful Pine down the rapids and.
Yes, I am. So this year, I'm not working full-time right now. I voluntarily, by choice, am working 3 days a week, and I'm really hoping to be able to pool all these kids together that are in different areas, and even I would even like to just contact the people, whoever's hosting over in Ithaca, whatever. If there's kids around, I'd like to get them all together to do some activities. I'm one of those. I'm hoping to do in early September is a kayaking.
Well, give me a call because I'll show up with my camera.
I will do that.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Kathy.
Thank you.